When I first heard about coming to America, of course, as a GI bride, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been on a ship before.
First time I walking up the dock and I could see the Queen Mary, in the distance. It was unbelievable how big it looked, and I couldn't see the end of it. It was so long.
When I first saw the Queen Mary, it was so massive. The Queen Mary was so famous in England. We all screamed it was as famous as the King and Queen.
It's a fantastic feeling to see a massive ship like this. Because in her days, of course, she was the biggest and the best.
Imagine a long time ago, before television, before computers, before iPhones, before airplanes. In fact, if you wanted to travel from the United States to England, you had few choices of how to be transported, and one of the preferred ways to travel was on board this very ship. Science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math are all around us. Once you step aboard the Queen Mary, you can see how science and engineering were used and put to the test. Back in the early 1930s, when the ship was built, shipbuilders and engineers used science and the latest technology of the time to design and build a floating masterpiece. At nearly twice the size of the Titanic, her streamlined hull was forged of 35,000 tons of steel, held together by 10 million rivets, and propelled by boilers raging at 700 degrees, with giant turbines spinning 4 32-ton propellers 3 times a second.
It is full tide, and the Queen is about to reveal the name of number 534.
I am happy to name this ship the Queen Mary. I wish success to her and to all who sail in her.
Before the first rivet went in, the Queen Mary was a miracle of mathematics and engineering, decades before computers and the advanced technologies we live with today. It is science and engineering that made the 1,019.5-foot-long vessel capable of flexing instead of breaking as it pushed through heaving 50-foot ocean swells. As one of the biggest and fastest ships of its day, the Queen Mary knifed across the unforgiving North Atlantic at speeds no modern cruise ship can muster. The Queen Mary could run steadily at 28.5 knots. That's about 33 miles per hour, taking only 5 days to cross the Atlantic Ocean. But building the fastest ship wasn't easy. The Queen Mary shipbuilders and engineers had to test and retest their ideas so the ship was not only fast, but offered a comfortable voyage for its passengers. Once passengers stepped on board, they were greeted by the art and artistic design of the time. Artists and craftsmen were commissioned by the ship company Cunard to style and decorate the interiors of this grand ocean liner. Her 25 public rooms were adorned with the best of British decorative arts and tableware and finished with wood from around the world. Unprecedented luxury and forward-thinking technology made the Queen Mary popular with British royalty, Hollywood celebrities, and dignitaries alike, raising the bar for luxury travel. As England and France declared war on Germany, the Queen Mary's days as a passenger ocean liner appeared to be over. With her record-breaking speed and size, the Queen Mary was retrofitted to serve as a troop ship during World War II. Dubbed the Grey Ghost, the Queen Mary was repainted in dull gray and hauled over 765,000 troops while playing a pivotal role in guiding the Allied forces to victory. After her time as a warship, the Queen Mary returned to her original glory. With her military duty over, the ship reclaimed her place as a world-class ocean liner. But a sea of major change was starting to become evident. The Queen Mary burned 1,000 tons of bunker sea fuel oil every 24 hours at sea. It was hard for the Queen Mary to compete with more fuel-efficient ships. In 1957, the first commercial jets flew, and oceanic travel with fast, expensive ships began to decline. By the mid-1960s, transoceanic sea travel had been eclipsed by the jet age, and one by one, the large, fast ships were taken out of service. But the historic Queen Mary still holds a special place in history as well as our hearts. Officially retired from ocean travel, the Queen Mary rests right here in sunny Long Beach. She represents an engineering feat of its time, providing a real-life example of steam energy in action. We welcome you aboard as we connect past to present to the future, and on a scientific exploration that is full steam ahead.
I love the Queen Mary. I feel that the Queen Mary has soul. It's a living being. I feel at home here. My grandchildren wouldn't be here today if I hadn't sailed on the Queen Mary, and coming over on this ship is something I'll never forget.
Queen Mary actually is like a magnet. Something about this ship that keeps bringing you back. She's not like other ships. She's got a heart and a soul.